वाङ् मे मनसि प्रतिष्ठिता मनो मे वाचि प्रतिष्ठितम् आविराविर्मयेधि वेदस्य मणिस्थ श्रुतं मे मा प्रहासीः अनेनाधीतेनाहोरात्रान् सन्दधामि ऋतं वदिष्यामि सत्यं वदिष्यामि तन्मामवतु तद्वक्तारमवतु अवतु माम् अवतु वक्तारमवतु वक्तारम् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. Let us now pray together. We offer our salutations to the all-loving being who endows all beings with consciousness. We meditate on the Lord, who is the origin of the universe. Lord, thou abidest in all, thou art all, thou assumest all forms, thou art the origin and goal of all, thou art the self of all, thou art existence, knowledge and bliss. Salutations unto thee. May the world be peaceful, may the wicked become gentle, may all creatures think of mutual welfare, may their minds be occupied with what is spiritual and abiding. May our hearts be immersed in selfless love for the Lord. Peace, peace, peace be unto all. So we will have an opening song today since our Peter Travisano is here. So this is a very nice song. Swami Vivekananda used to sing this song. So I mean the English translation will be sung here now.
I have joined my heart to thee. All that exists art thou. Thee only have I found, for thou art all that exists. O Lord, beloved of my heart, thou art the home of all, where indeed is the heart which thou dost not dwell. Thou hast entered every heart, all that exists art thou. Whether sage or fool, whether Hindu or Mussulman, thou makest them as thou wilt. All that exists art thou. Thy presence is everywhere, whether in heaven or hell or in Kabbalah. Before thee all must bow, for thou art all that exists. From earth below to the highest heaven, from heaven to the deepest earth, I see thee wherever I look, all that exists art thou. Pondering I have understood I have seen it without a doubt. I find not a single thing that compares to thee. To Jafar it has been revealed, all that exists art thou. 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 All that exists art thou.
Thank you, dear Peter. One of the major problems that we face is how to not succumb to the cowardice. It is a constant problem, constant struggle to stand up against the feelings of very irrational fears. And we can see that it causes, therefore, let alone in spiritual life, in all really good endeavors that we plan to do in life. Anything that we want to do that is noteworthy, and there will be some resistance to that, and immediately 100 fears start just hollering around us. Oh, this may happen, then that may happen, then that would be, then where will I go? And if yes, and thus we do not go to do what otherwise should be done. There is one thing to be cautious, and quite another thing to be a coward. It is very important, friends, a message in life not to succumb to cowardice. It comes in Bhagavad Gita. It gets translated differently, but this is the verse that comes in the second chapter, the verse number 3, preceded by verse number 2, which bring this message out very clearly. The first part, you know the story of Bhagavad Gita, that the great heroic warrior Arjuna came to the battlefield against this army which had so many of his own kith and kin and friends and so forth, teachers, and so he came to war. He knew that with whom he has to fight, but then kind of caught cold feet. And human beings being very intelligent, and they want to support whatever they do. So support means I am right, that is the idea. So Arjuna, instead of admitting that it is his fear, he is caught with in the fear, he gives Krishna a sermon on how it would be good not to get into the war. It is, he assumes a garb of a very compassionate and nice, kind-hearted person who does not want to wage war against one's own kith and kin, but actually lurking behind is the fear of loss of all that I love, loss of my own life, loss of defeat, all that is there. As one verse in that sermon to Krishna that can be called a sermon of Arjuna to Krishna. There he says that this is war and we don't know who will win, we or they. So there is the lurking fear of defeat also. He is not very confident that he will win the war because standing in front of him are the great warriors of extraordinary skills. So therefore he was worried, concerned, and this is going to be, as he could see, a very big step ahead, fraught with lot of difficulties. And so his heart was getting chickened out, and so but he wanted to cover it up. Nobody likes to be called coward, nobody likes to be said, hey, you are a terribly scared person. Nobody likes to feel like that. So he explains very elaborately that how my actions are right. But he is talking to Lord Krishna, who could see through that it is all a mask. All the philosophy he is telling is just a mask without corona, So it is and he saw that it is just cowardice. So he says to Arjuna, when Arjuna stopped giving sermon, then Krishna started speaking that, hey, where from this all darkness has covered your understanding? Kutastva kashmalamidam vishame samupasthitam anaryajustam asvargyam akirtikaram Arjuna. That Arjuna, that where from this delusion, this darkness, this inertiatic attitude has come over you, and that too at such an odd time. Had it been, coming when you are anyway, you have finished your work and you are going to sleep, at that time it might not have mattered that much. But now the war is about to begin, and that, already the conch has been blown by all warriors and the weapons have been unsheathed. At that time now you suddenly are telling all these things. This is all shows your delusion and how scared you are to stand in front of such great warriors in the midst of all this army. So, where from has it come to you? It is not your nature. You have been a warrior and fought many, many wars very successfully. You are a hero of great strength, great valor, and wonderful, unparalleled skills in archery. So, this is something that has suddenly come over you. This is not your nature. Oh, where from has it come to you? And he gives a strong dose. Klaibhyam masma gama partha naitatvai upapadyate shudram hridaya daurbalyam tyaktotishta parantapa. Oh, don't yield to cowardice, don't yield to unmanliness. don't yield to these irrational fears. It is, this does not become you. Can anybody, this is not just for Arjuna, every human being can see. Is there anybody who would say that cowardice becomes me? We succumb to cowardice, but we know that it doesn't become us. It doesn't glorify us. It is wrong to get mowed down by cowardice. It is, so Krishna reminds us through Arjuna, do not succumb to this attitude. Klaibhyam masma gamha partha naitatvai upapadyate. And Shudram hridaya daurbalyam tyaktvottishta parantapa. Just kick out this cowardice, this feeling in you. Don't show any mercy to such feeling. The feeling of cowardice is a terrible feeling, and it is very detrimental to one's growth in any field, and particularly in the spiritual field. What one needs is the courageous attitude, the attitude that yes, I can do it, why not? It is so, just kick such attitude out and stand up like a hero. Swami Vivekananda, commenting on this verse, says that if one reads this one verse, gets all the merits of reading entire Gita. See, a powerful statement coming from Swami Vivekananda, that the message that don't succumb to this, a very important message, because fears just pull us back from whatever noble ideas we may have. One gentleman, to make long story short, I go to his class, he would, invites me to teach meditation to his school students. And so he tells his students that this Swami changed my life. And he tells them an incident that I don't remember, that I remember he had come to me in a fix. So he said that he wanted to do something, he wants to become a school teacher, but he is afraid what will happen. And then he said, I told him, let your fears not take decision for you. Let not your fears decide for you, which is true. I might have said because I believe that. So, let your fears not take decisions for you. Think and then act accordingly. It is the fears are, they always pull us back from any noble endeavor. We go headlong where there is actually fear. But where there is actually no fear, we are scared. That is what the Upanishads say, abhaye bhayadarshinaha. How are we people? We are scared of that where actually there is no fear. But where there is fear, we do not worry about anything. Just go there and get slapped around. So it is, that is what happens. It is when you are doing something great, noble, what will people say? that becomes a fear. One is worried about that, and so thinks, why should I do this? And then being intelligent finds hundreds of reasons for not doing that which is otherwise right. So, it is just shooting in our own foot, you see, that therefore, this statement has a great significance in life, the spiritual life. There is an incident in Vivekananda's life that just to show how pervasive the fear is, fear of losing whatever I have, as if otherwise it is not going to get lost. Think about it. So, this incident is very illustrative. At that time he was Narendranath, a college going student, and was frequenting to Sri Ramakrishna for quite some time, and Sri Ramakrishna asks him, suppose you have a cup full to the brim with nectar, and you are, say, a fly, how will you sip that nectar? And Vivekananda said, I will very cautiously stand on the rim of the cup and then protrude the trunk and slowly, carefully sip that nectar. Sri Ramakrishna said, well, what is the need to be so careful about it? And Narendranath says, well, if my foot slips and if I fall in, I will get drowned, isn't it? Sri Ramakrishna laughed and said, in nectar, if you fall, you become immortal. You don't die by falling in the nectar. That is an ambrosia, that it doesn't kill you. So, why are you afraid? And this is an illustration of our life, friends. We are scared of entering in the realm of immortality, and while holding on to this mortal life, we feel we are safe. There is no fear here. Here you are just going to get extinct just soon. A few minutes, that is it. The minutes can be elongated to years, that is all, but it is just a matter of a little while and all is gone. Just a little while and this life is gone. All just this vanity, and we are fearlessly holding on to this vanity. But give it up, then what will happen to me? Oh, very funny idea. Otherwise, what is going to happen? Now, think about it. Otherwise, what is going to happen? It is thus we are afraid of death. We are afraid that whatever money and other things I have got will be lost, gone, as if otherwise you are going to be immortal. Your living is marching towards death. So, why fear about that? This is a spiritual quality that we have to imbibe. We have to begin, even if we may admit that yes, at least first thing is to admit that I have this problem. Instead of saying, no, I am not afraid, but the situation is like that. No, don't gloss over it. Admit that I feel scared of these things. Now, just let us see how this disease can be overcome by proper treatment. First thing is to admit that yes, it needs to be overcome, and so we have to work on that yes, what is wrong in doing this, in getting rid of this kind of fear. So, we will see no reason to hold on to fear. Swami Vivekananda says, and it is how true it is. Let me quote from his very vast literature. He hammers on this idea of fear, because that is the source, he says, of all sin. We commit sins because of fear. All weakness, and I am quoting, all weakness, all bondage is imagination. Speak one word to it, it must vanish. Do not weaken. There is no other way out. Stand up and be strong. No fear, no superstition. Face the truth as it is. If death comes, that is the worst of our miseries. Let it come. We are determined to die game. That is all the religion I know. Religion, Swami Vivekananda says, that is the only religion I know, religion of fearlessness. Just quivering with fear in front of some God sitting somewhere in the sky. And then, please forgive me, I have committed this sin and that sin. What? It is nonsense. Who is going to forgive you? Be bold and stand up. This religion of preaching sin is like that, to make people always scared. It is, and so this is to be imprinted very strongly in our minds, that do not give scope to such fears. It is, I have not attained to it, but I am struggling to do it. I may not, but you may, go on. He encourages everybody. It is, I might not have been fully fearless, he was actually, but see, he says, even if I am not, that is no reason that you will not. You may, you try on your these things, that it is. This happened in my early monastic life, that after some months or so, I said to one senior monk that, oh, you don't seem to be, that spiritual. He said, okay, but does it prevent you from being spiritual? I said, oh, that's correct. Why should I think about whether I am not here to measure how spiritual you are. Does it prevent you? He was really very serene spiritual person. That is why he could easily say that, It is. So Vivekananda saying that I have not attained it is something like that. You can attain it. Always say, I have no fear. Tell this to everybody, have no fear. Fear is death, fear is sin, fear is hell, fear is unrighteousness, fear is wrong life. All the negative thoughts and ideas that are in this world have proceeded from this evil spirit of fear. This fear alone has kept the sun, the air, and death in their respective places and functions, allowing none to escape from their bounds. And this is a quote from Kathopanishad. Bhayadasya tapati surya, bhayad agni, bhayad vayu, and so forth. If you read the Vedas, you will find this word always repeated, fearlessness. Fear nothing. Fear is a sign of weakness. So the question is, do we want to become strong, or just want to be always fraught with fear? One has to take the courageous step. The courage increases by practicing, and the fear decreases also by practicing. That you do it and you will see that you succeed, then your fear gets reduced. But if you give scope to fear, it is, and what happens is all of us have element of fear and element also of this idea that I must get rid of fear. But then instead of making us each other stronger, we feed to each other's fears. Oh, it is very bad. No, that's not right. Oh, okay. Yeah, be safe and so forth, It is, so this is the way that we weaken each other. We should make each other's stronger and stronger by giving this great advice of fearlessness, that it is the one who is not afraid, well, that person dies no doubt once in lifetime, and this fellow dies. The one who is scared dies every moment. That is what will happen. Will not go to do anything right. Just go get the food, take it and lie down. Oh, otherwise maybe something bad will happen. Suddenly a thunderbolt will strike me. Well, anything can happen, isn't it? The chances, probability may be low or high, but anything can happen. So, therefore, one has to tell oneself, be fearless. Many times before something bad happens, we take a what is it called, preempting step to eliminate somebody. Now that fellow probably had no idea of attacking you, but then our fears make us go and eliminate that fellow. This is then what is it called? What is it? This sin. So many innocent people were killed. Well, you give a good name, nice name, collateral damage, but does it absolve you of this thing? That it is the fear, well, something will happen to me, and I take some major knee-jerk reaction, that is called knee-jerk reaction, and that is how our life becomes mingled with sinful actions. So, he says, look, this is the gospel in Vedas, in Upanishads. This word, Swami Vivekananda says that this one word that comes to us from Upanishads is strength and fearlessness. Abhi means be fearless, do not be scared. It is so. In Taittiriya Upanishad, for example, it is said that that is how one will be able to realize the truth of this non-duality. What is non-duality? This fractured perception of subject and object. This is not the truth. It is a fractured perception, I and you, and it is shifting all the time. That is the cause of bondage. When this fictitious line of separation is removed, that is the meaning of realizing the non-dual truth. It is, otherwise this is whole everything in this fractured perception is fraught with problems, unsolvable problems. because it is not real, basically it is not real. So, the problems can never ever be solved. One problem you try to solve, it appears to reach a solution, giving you 10 more problems to solve, and this goes on and on. It can never end, because it is basically this division I and you is erroneous division, and so and this is cause of fear also. What happens is, when there is division I and world, what happens? The world is seen as coming forward to crush me out, and so one is scared with about everybody. Right now this person is my very close friend, but who knows, tomorrow what is in store. Maybe this person will turn against me. It happens. It happens. Yeah, there are so many cases that very close relations, they have murdered each other. So, fear is there that this may happen, who knows. So, there is no solution, because I and you, always there is fear. What will happen? Who knows? I am right now dealing with some funny case, that the parents are now against the child, that the child is out to rob them, and it is just irrational fear, nothing, but that is how the things are. That now how to explain or console or bring some understanding. It is so difficult. Now, such close relationship, the husband is scared of wife, wife is scared of husband, children are scared of parents, parents are scared of the children. See, why? I and you. This division is the source of fear always. Taittiriya Upanishad therefore says that when this fictitious line is erased, then all fear is gone. What will happen is that there is no fear. Atha abhayam gato bhavati. That person attains to fearlessness. But if there is the slightest such distinction, I and you, then there is no way the fear can be removed. There will be fear, and so this gives us a way to practice, that by not being scared, by conscientiously trying to get rid of fear, makes us come closer to the understanding of this non-dual reality. By conscientiously removing fear from our awareness and actions, we will come closer and closer to this non-dual truth, and therefore this is to be done. It is, I don't mean that one should be foolhardy. It is, if you see that there is something that is very dangerous and I should not do it, okay, fine. But when it is not, a lot of fears start, dancing on our head and dictating us that it is, this could happen, oh my goodness, that could happen, oh well, it is, let me buy. The fear is the reason that insurance companies go on, because we don't know what will happen if this, and then whether insurance company will actually pay or not, who knows, that is another fear, you know. So, therefore, there are the insurance companies are also scared what will happen. They are also composed of human beings. So, there are the insurance companies who take the insurance, who sell the insurance to the insurance companies. So, so this is how the fear continues. But one can see that, let me give it a try. What is going to happen? Let me see. It is what I am talking about is that you should be cautious. But there is a big difference between being cautious and being scared. An example that I had given here earlier also, but it is really marvelous in its, you know, giving this message of fearlessness and how one develops fearlessness. So, this is a very remarkable example that there was a tank, water tank to be constructed, a cement tank, and because of certain regulations, the tank could be built on just one pillar, and on that a circular tank has to be built, a cylindrical tank. So, the engineer has designed, a structural engineer with full authority and competence. He said this is a stable structure, and it is proved that it is a stable structure. After about 50 years it is still standing there, you see. So, certainly it is a stable structure, but the problem was no contractor was coming up to put that kind of scaffolding and support to that slab. And then everybody know if it falls what will happen, if somebody dies under it. Oh no, I am not going to do it. So, this engineer in a fix, he knew one contractor. He said, hey, come on, you know, what is there? See, I tell you, you can check my design. You also are engineer. The design is very good. There is no flaw in it, and you go ahead, you have to, you know, just do that work. Sri Ramakrishna is holding that tank. That is how he told him. Sri Ramakrishna is holding that tank. Your work will just bring glory to you. It will be another feather in your cap, you see. So, go ahead. And then this man said, okay, and he did, you know, I was witness to that. Not that just because Sri Ramakrishna is holding to it, he did not take precautions. Oh no, it was nice to see that every inch of that slab had some supporting pillar or something there to hold it. And then, but he did it, and it worked very well. So, now what happens with this? Now, he is confident, his confidence builds, yes, this can be done. Next time, he will be more eager to take up such these projects. One should not be scared of challenges, because if we do not accept the challenges, we miss the opportunities as well, opportunities of positive growth in life. And so, these challenges have to be accepted, and then do whatever is necessary to fulfill those commitments or to face those challenges. One has to do everything, but do not get scared, do not be a coward, and much worse is that make a philosophy of supporting the cowardice. Give 100 reasons. So, because of that you create a fort to preserve the cowardice, as it were. Instead of preserving the divinity, we work hard to preserve our cowardice. So, in this world, again I am quoting from Vivekananda, there are innumerable quotes of Vivekananda on this, because he made this as it were his important advice, strength and fearlessness. That is the gospel, he said, I am going to preach. So he says, in this world we work through fear of others, we talk through fear, we think through fear. Alas, we are born in a land of enemies, always thinking that somebody is spying. That is a big psychological problem, that you immediately think that that fellow is spying on me, that person is really wanting to eliminate me and is really hating me. It is even that great mathematician, what is his name, John Nash, was thank you, was scared always. That is one of the reasons that he became that kind of mental this patient, that always those Russians are going to abduct me and torture me and so forth. He was told no Russians, nothing there, but he could not be consoled or could not be made to go on the right path. A brilliant mind. That is the name of the book about his biography. A beautiful mind, beautiful mind, the mind that really brought out such wonderful mathematical solutions to various problems. But now this fear. So, these problems that he solved, he would have done much more had he not wasted so many years in fear. So, very illustrative thing that how much big this fear plays in our defeats in life. So, it is Swami Vivekananda says that look, it is many cases may not be so bad as John Nash, but I have seen so many always suspicious. No, I do not want to be near that person. Why? What is wrong? No, may something secretly that person does. I know that person's mentality. Oh well, whatever that person bad may that person do to you, already you are doing so much bad to yourself by being scared. It is, no, I do not want people to say such things about me. And they will always say, this is another fear that we see. We are cowards to do something right because people will say so many things. As if you are not doing is preventing their saying that. It is all irrational. Whatever our conscience says, right. Right. Now take this step ahead to do it, and what will happen thereby is when we will march step by step towards that stage of fearlessness and to the complete non-dual realization of the absolute oneness of existence. So, it is, he says, it is fear alone that is death. You have to go beyond all fear. So, the feeling of fear, we have to always subject it to a very stern inquiry. It is that, yeah, it is, this was just no bomb, don't get scared, so it is, so it is this imagination, that's what will happen to me if this, if this, if this. So, the way to overcome fear is just do it. If there is no rational reason to believe that there is a big fear there, when you see that, well, there are many who have done it, then ask yourself, why can you not? Then another idea is brought out, no, I am different. Well, what is the meaning of this? I am different, everybody is different. And does it mean that we have to keep on succumbing to this kind of fear? We can be as good as any person that has walked on this earth. We can be Jesus, we can be Buddhas. What was the special power of them? Fearlessness. And those who were fearless could alone become the followers of Jesus. It is, he told those fishermen, well, drop your nets and follow me. They keep on thinking, then what will happen to me, and then what will happen to this fish, and what people will think about me? Never. Drop the net of that fish net, and even didn't say that let me sell it, and then after finishing that, then I will follow. Such people will never follow, because one gives rise to another, then another, then another. So, drop it right there. So, that is how one gets an opportunity to progress in life. It is, do it and we will see that it is, we find it so difficult to, discard things, that we accumulate so many things, but to throw them, oh, now this may be needed, oh, that may be needed, that may be needed, yeah. So, once, and this has happened with so many people, that the house is full of so many things, even the garage is full of so many things, car sits outside, the garage is full of all nonsense, it is, but no, this may be needed, this is kind of, now that person had to go, leaving the house, and what is to be taken? Okay, just take few things which you use, that which is necessary, and then we will, whatever you need later, we can bring it all there. Nothing more was needed. Nothing more was needed. It is because it was never getting used anyway. Your life was going on without them. So, it continued to go on without those, but fear of losing. If I lose all this, what will happen? The fear, and that statement of Karl Marx I like a lot. People who were, being all brought into submission by the capitalist, and their life was really miserable. These laborers, very poor laborers, and they were kept like that. So, he was trying to raise them to raise into a rebellion, rise into a rebellion. But they were scared that if they stand up in rebellion, whatever they have, that also will be lost. And he said to them, what do you have to lose? Look at your state of life. A very famous statement of his, that proletariat has only chains to lose. Only chains are to be lost. If you are afraid of losing the chains, then remain in bondage. That is the condition, that we reduce ourselves because of this fear. We remain chained to this bondage, and all the consequent miseries and all that follow because of that. So one must rise to that. It is true that fear is the sure cause of degradation and sin. It is fear that brings misery, fear that brings death, fear that breeds evil. And what causes fear? Ignorance of our own nature. This is what we must keep on announcing to ourselves and others too, that I am immortal, I have no birth, no death, I am everywhere, I am bliss itself. There is no thing in the world that I need as such to be happy. It is I who give happiness into these different things. My looking at them makes those things happy, and then I try to take it from that. It is I am bliss itself. It is so true. Any person with some rationality can easily see this. It is so. Let us repeat this, friends, that I am the immortal spirit. Nothing can really bring death to me. Nothing should really frighten me. So, let us preach this gospel of fearlessness to ourselves and to others. So, let us conclude this with the prayers that may this fearlessness come into our life. Let us meditate, and if you have any question or comment, you are free to ask. Any question? Yes, Peter has one question, then John has another question.
So you gave the instance of Sri Ramakrishna and Narendra, and Ramakrishna asked Narendra, how would you sip the nectar? And then you talked about entering immortality. Do we lose our individuality when we enter immortality?
We lose. Certainly, it is a very good question. Swami Vivekananda has spoken about it in US especially many times, because he said people are so scared of losing their individuality. He says, I want to know in what does this individuality live. Individuality means, suppose a person, a child grows into a young guy, has the individuality been lost? If suppose you have moustache and beard, if you cut it, is the individuality lost? What is individuality? Where does it live? It lives only in ignorance. And so, to realize the ultimate truth, one should give up this fiction of individuality. I am so and so, I am such and such, I am like this, I am a different person. All these things are trying to put a hedge around our so-called individuality. See where this individuality is. It is you did not know music, when you learned, you now became a musician. Has your individuality gone? No, it is all that is subject to change. Where is individuality in that? Vivekananda used to therefore say it in a very funny way. Tell me, where is this individuality? He would humorously pronounce it. Where is it? It is certainly immortality, means the loss of individuality. Individual is subject to death. Losing individuality is the eternal life.
I'm thinking of a quote.
Hold the mic like that, you know. It's on. You have to just hold like this.
May I? I'm thinking of a quote. Men seek honor rather than justice. And I think one thing that propels honor is a desire for social acceptance. Would you think that that's somewhat of a cowardly thing there's a history, the world is a history of making outcasts out of people, causing injustices at the price of seeking honor and social acceptance.
Yeah, it is fear. I fully agree with you there, that it is the fear of public opinion, seeking honor from public, and that makes that person scared. And whereas, if you actually see the history and the statement of Vivekananda about history, what is the history of the world but the life story of those few people who had self-confidence and courage. They didn't care about public opinion. Who gets more honor than Buddha and Jesus? They did not pander to the public opinion, never cared an iota for that. So, it is true that when you are seeking public opinion, you become such a despicable slave. It is constantly being in fear. What this fellow will say about me, what that fellow will talk about me, and all that. Yeah. Any question on the web?
Yes, Maharaj, there are 3 questions.
I thought today's talk was so simple, no question would be there.
So, first question, Rais praise.
What?
From Reese Praise, P-E-R-E-Z, praise. What is the best way to practice japa?
Oh, best way to practice japa is as told by your guru. The guru tells you how to practice japa, and then one has to go along with that this is the way you should do. Now, one can say that, well, it is feel the love for the God that is being invoked through that japa, and then lovingly do it. Yeah.
Next question from Shubha. Pranam Swamiji.
Pranam.
So, in summary, is it like becoming desireless, as even to be free can also have a basis of a fear of bondage? So, if no desire, then no fear of anything, and no bondage, bondage too, correct? The second part to
correct.
that.
Yeah,
but it's not easy to be desireless. So, any advice to keep oneself on spiritual path?
It is not easy, but compared to fulfilling the desires, becoming desireless is easier, because desires never get fulfilled, they are bottomless pits. So, it is in one Upanishad, a question comes like this, that come on, what is easier, to dig a well and get water, or to drink the water of Mirage? What is easier? It is no brainer, you know. Compared to the two, water of Mirage, there is no water at all. So, it is impossible. So, digging a well could be difficult, but it is possible. So, getting rid of the desires, how Lord Krishna tells in Bhagavad Gita that look at what happens by running after the desires. Janma mrityu jara vyadhi dukkha doshanudarshanam, that look at all those ill effects that have come to life by running after the desires. And when you really see the bad effects, you desist from that. Like one gentleman, I offered him the food, but said this has chilies. Oh, no, I cannot handle it. So, because he knows the bad effects of that, so he didn't take it. So, similarly, when we understand the bad effect of running after a desire for any sensual pleasure, or the desire for name, fame, reputation, whatever, those desires, they makes us slaves. They bring so much suffering in life. Therefore, showing oneself that look, what terrible state we have reduced to by following these desires. Then when we see this, we will be able to give up the desires by seeing the bad effects of desires in life. They should be seen pinchingly, you know. Very strongly we must feel that it is not just intellectual thinking, but one must feel how bad it is. It is therefore, see, when people saw at one time that yes, by not putting face masks, there is the chance of spreading the corona. Immediately people started putting the face mask, majority of them. So, what happens is that you see the bad effects and thus change your behavior accordingly. So, this is here also it is like that. When you see the bad effects, then you can do the right thing of not going into that which brings these bad effects. Earlier people were needed to be told that put on face mask. Now everybody here has face mask. I also have one in pocket. When I go there, I will put on. So, why? Because we understood the beneficial effects and we understood the ill effects that could be because of not putting them on. So, therefore, we same thing we have to submit our desires to, and thus we know that the desires bind me, desires cause pain to me, and so I don't want such a thing in life. Thank you. Oh, there is one more.
One more, last question. From Manish C. Swamiji, this is a very timely discourse in view of the pandemic and the fear arising from it. Question: how can one overcome fear if the risk of the situation cannot be assessed? Unknowns.
Yes, there are many unknowns, certainly. But in everything there will be lots of unknowns. So, there has to be some element of adventure in that. It is what is called, calculated risk. You have to tell yourself no risk, no gain. So, you have to take risk. But do not take risk when there is very clear signs that you will just get destroyed in the process without any gain. So, therefore, you should go ahead and try out, If we are afraid, like somebody was telling that, well, the investment atmosphere, it is like that, how, and then, okay, don't, be cautious, don't. But then somebody told, even if you don't invest, your value of money is going to go down anyway, you see. The cash that you are holding will not be able to buy that thing that you are able to buy today. So, it is, this is all matters of uncertainty, and we have to accept that our knowledge about them is limited, but that does not make us safe if we do not take any decision, because we will get caught right here. So, the dangers are not only in doing, the dangers are there in not doing as well. This is a very wise question, that and the presentation is wonderful. Thank you, Manish, that to be cautious is wonderful, but to be coward is not right thing. Thank you. So, we will have now Arati. Oh, I have to say what the closing prayers, and before that the announcements for the next week, that next Sunday, that is February 20, going into the depth of the matter, that is the topic of discussion, going into the depth of the matter. The Tuesday, Friday lectures will go on as usual. This Tuesday class is on Sri Ramakrishna and his divine play, and Friday it is the stories from Srimad Bhagavatam. Both of these start at 7:30. There is daily prayers, meditation sessions. They are also on as usual. So, feel free to come for these. And now let me conclude with the closing prayer. May the Divine, who is Father in heaven of the Christians, Holy One of the Jewish faith, Allah of the Muslims, Buddha of the Buddhists, Tao of the Taoists, Great Spirit of the Native Americans, Ahura Mazda of the Zoroastrians, and Brahman of the Hindus, lead us from the unreal to the real, from darkness to light, from death to immortality. May the all-loving being manifest himself unto us and grant us abiding understanding and all-consuming divine love. Peace, peace, peace be unto all.
this we can see through your grace. Destroyer of our worldly sorrow and compassion so infinite is a word. Your lives offered for the world's deliverance. Your lives offered for the world's deliverance, saving us from darkness and fear. Renouncer of all lust and lucre, therefore you were always spurning sensual life. Lord of monks, you are the best of men. Lord of monks, you are the best of men. Grant to us pure love for you. You're fearless and you're free from doubting, with your mind very firmly resolved. Causeless refuge of your devotees. Causeless refuge of your devotees. Renouncing caste and birth. Our treasure is your holy feet, which take us very soon across this puddle of life. You give love and even-sightedness. You give love and even-sightedness to remove our anguish here. Our treasure is your holy feet, which take us very soon across this puddle of life. You give love and even-sightedness. You give love and even-sightedness to remove our anguish here. Greetings to you, O Lord, beyond both speech and mind. Greetings to you, O Lord, beyond both speech and mind. Yet you are the basis of both. O Lord, yet you are the basis of both. Great light of all lights, blazing in the heart's gate. Great light of all lights, blazing in the heart's gate. Darkness is destroyed by your light. Oh Lord, darkness is destroyed by your light. Greetings to you, O Lord, beyond both speech and mind. Greetings to you, O Lord, beyond both speech and mind. Yet you are the basis of both. O Lord, yet you are the basis of both. Great light of all lights, blazing in the heart's gate. Great light of all lights, blazing in the heart's gate. Darkness is destroyed by your light. Oh Lord, darkness is destroyed by your light. Langa Ranga Bhanga, these are all the sounds of Vedanta. Langa Ranga Bhanga, these are all the sounds of Vedanta. Spiritual songs devotees are singing. Jai Shri Guru Maharaj Ji Ki Jai. Auspicious and blessed graciousness sublime, all noble ends you give to us, granting us refuge, all seeing Gauri. O Mother Divine, our love to you. Creation, preservation, dissolution are your powers, eternal one. Nature's real basis, nature's essence. O Mother Divine, our love to you. We come seeking refuge from anguish. Be our Savior through your deep concern. All our suffering remove, Goddess. O Mother Divine, our love to you. Victory, O Mother Divine, our love to you. Blessed Mother Divine, our love to you. Blessed Mother Divine, our love to you. Blessed Mother Divine, our love to you. Jai Shri Ram Krishna Dev Ki Jai. Jai Shri Sarda Devi Ki Jai. Jai Shri Swami Vivekanand Ki Jai. Jai Shri Buddha Dev Ki Jai. Jai Shri Jesus Christ Ki Jai.